Hello and welcome to another episode of Atonement, Sins of the Past. This episode is going to be a bit different from the preceding ones. I'm not going to be atoning in it. I'm going to be doing internal decoration. Because let's face it, I think I've dealt quite well with the terrible situation I've been put in. I've been working away for all these episodes, putting myself in terrible danger, fighting the forces of evil and the taint, atoning for sins that I am pretty certain are not mine, and doing it in these cramped and horrible conditions. Look at it, everything is together. The storage system is a complete mess. I can never find anything. It's all grey and ugly, and I don't have any space for what I need to do anymore. Okay, it's very high, but that was needed for growing the trees. So I want to spend the episode decorating and changing all this and making my working conditions far more pleasant. I've already started on this. I've been digging out more rooms. So I've dug out this huge underground farm and I brought the animals and the hobgoblins down. I've put down some dirt. The paths are going to be chiseled dirt, just for that rustic look. Okay, this room was already here. It was the clockwork phase room, but I think it can do with a bit of decoration. And finally this room, I'm gonna remove all this farm stuff obviously downstairs, and this will be the Botania place. Because look at this Botania setup. I mean, it was okay as an emergency setup right at the beginning, and it's got quite a lot of mana in the system, but that's because I haven't really been using it because I didn't have most of the ingredients that I needed. But now that I have the blaze rods and netherwort and all sorts of stuff, I'm gonna need more mana more quickly. And I'd quite like to go and visit the elves, or rather talk to the elves and get stuff from them, etc, etc. Botania is a mod that needs a lot of space, so we'll need to put the storage, sort out a better storage system and convert this room to the Botania room. Now, chisel is an obvious choice for decorating, but actually I've always really loved the textures that Botania has in them. I mean, it's just such a beautiful mod, like the living wood, for example, or the living rock, and they look so good together. Plus, you can do other things with the living rock. For example, you can make bricks out of it, which look shiny and lovely. And you can also put seeds with the... where are my seeds? Yes. You can put seeds with the blocks and kind of give them that tinted green texture, mossy living rock bricks. So these look really good. You can also make cracked bricks by doing cobblestone, and that sort of doubles the amount of living rock you have with you, which is quite good because this isn't a material that's easy to get in huge quantities. So if we just look at what these blocks will look like, I think they are really gorgeous and they work really well together. The really dark wood with the especially the mossy, I think the mossy living rock bricks are my favorite. They look really good together. So I think I'm gonna use some of this. It's, as I said, it's not easy. Since it's not easy to get large quantities of this material. But Botania also has something even more amazing in store for us, and it's this. I mean, just look at this room. Unbelievable. Now, obviously, we're not gonna use this hodgepodge of color, but this is produced by this little flower, the Metamorphosis, or however you pronounce that. It's not that difficult to make. It just needs, well, it's a bit of a pain because it needs lots of different petals and a couple of runes. the redwood root is redstone root is made by combining grass with some redstone dust, so that is easy. But anyway, you give that flower a bit of mana and it does this. It turns all the rock into these colored versions, which I think look glorious. Now unfortunately I don't have silk touch on my pick, so it's gonna turn it into cobblestone, which I don't like quite that much. So I'm gonna have to smelt all the colored cobblestone back into smooth stone and perhaps turn it into bricks, which is gonna take some time, but hey, I think it's worth doing some work and, well, waiting mostly. I mean, we have plenty of coal. I think it's worth waiting just to get something that looks really good, that we're going to atone in luxury from now onwards. So yes, look at all the different colors. I mean, you can get colors, well, not in this pack, but in other mods with just dyes, but these textures are, you know, they're more than just a simple color. They're really nice. So yes, let's not talk anymore, let's start working.
Échoué au fond de tes yeux, un doute échoué au fond de tes yeux, un doute échoué au fond de tes yeux persiste comme une larme exquise en secret de femme. Et je sais où je suis, mais d'où vient ce qu'on sait? Nous vivons au soleil d'hier, soleil d'hiver. Nous vivons au soleil d'hier, espérons les soleils d'hiver.
So, hello again in our new renovated quarters. Wow, what a building project this was. It just took forever. I was getting quite annoyed with myself for choosing such expensive materials. I also had to make a few departures from the plan. As you can see, I used the normal grey stones in quite a few places. The stuff I was planning originally was just too it was just too much. It hurt my eyes, so I mostly used the Botania stones as highlights rather than the main building material. Well, I used quite a lot of them and it took forever to purify the stone and the wood. And oh my god, did you see those, what are those horrible white biting insecty wormy things called? My god, I hated them so much, and now I've forgotten what they are called. Okay, I give up. I'm gonna have to look this up. I'll be right back. Silverfish, of course, silverfish. My god, it's like early onset Alzheimer's. But anyway, let me give you a quick walk through the new base, which is the old base renovated. I don't think I'd make a very good real estate agent, but anyway. Okay, so now that I'm looking at it, I'm noticing a few things, like there's some missing glowstone blocks here, etc. So this can do with a few extra improvements, but I feel it looks rather good. Okay, so this is the Botania room, and initially I was sort of hoping to be able to do the new Botania mana generating setup, but I am so exhausted with the building, it will have to wait for the next episode. Now I do need to remove this chest. I still haven't solved the storage problem very well. Okay, I love these carpenter doors, you know, the way you can sort of make them blend in. But here's our spawner. I probably should chisel the bits there a bit. And here's the descent to the mines. Now through here, look at those almost completely hidden doors. I could actually chisel them to be... I can do all sorts of chisel things, but I could make them so they totally don't look like doors. The problem is, if I did this, I wouldn't know where they were. I'm not sure whether to leave them like this or do them very discreetly. Anyway, here's the storage room and sleeping quarters, and as you will see, I upgraded my bed to the fancy luxury carpenter's version. I'm sure this will be much better for my back, what with its memory mattress and everything. And as I said, I'll probably want to reorganize these drawers a little bit. Also, I need to look a bit more into this mod, because I do believe that you can put in upgrades, etc., and have a place where you can dump all your stuff and have it get sorted out, etc. And these random chests with random stuff, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But one thing that I probably will end up doing is moving the mod specific items into that mod's room. I think that will help a little bit. Yeah, the furnaces don't look very good, and I just don't see anything that I can do with them. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with this room, the fancy lamps upstairs and the ceiling. I mean, it's quite a nice room, I think, you know, rather relaxing to be here. Okay, so having finished with this floor, now this is still something of a mess. It's not really finished because I will need to change the floor, but this is the clockwork face room, and part of this mod is this humongous structure in the floor where you just build one block and it will do the rest of it. I think it's the celestial compass or the temporal compass or something, and it's sort of black and gold, so this sort of color scheme, and it will take up most of this floor. So really it would have been quite wasteful for me to do the floor and then have to destroy it and put in the structure when I finally get around to it. It needs a gas tier, which is why I can't do it yet. But yes, so this floor, which doesn't really fit in with the rest, will go. And I haven't done the lighting. I want my whole base to be lit with glowstone, but I've actually been running kind of low on redstone, so I convert the redstone to glowstone using Botania. So this will have to wait. The thing about this mod that other than a few blocks here and the compass, I don't think there are many like blocks in it, so this will be a mostly empty room, which I guess is okay. Down there is another room which I will talk about in a bit, but here we go to the farm. The farm is pretty much finished, except I forgot to bring in the cacti, so I guess there will be some cactus growing here. But other than that, we've got the carrots, potatoes, wheat, and I think one of the challenges was to grow 16 of these, of each plant, so we've done that. I haven't quite got 16 of the melons and the pumpkins and the sugarcane. I don't really need that many, and I'm going to end up doing that when I go upstairs. For the lighting in this room, I've chosen, a lot of it is done by this glimmering living wood. So this is done by combining living wood with glowstone. I wasn't entirely sure about it, but I think it's quite nice. So anyway, and again, I started off by making it all the walls from the fancy Botania brick, but it was just too colorful and, I don't know, too dark and too fancy, so I ended up using cobblestone in a lot of it. So I think stone makes it quite busy and textured. I think I'm quite aesthetic in my tastes, but I don't know, honestly, these eggs, first I couldn't get any eggs or chickens, and now they're following me everywhere. I did originally try to do carpenter's fencing for this, which is much more fancy, but the animals really didn't like it at all. It made them jump up and down. I think they're a lot more natural with, vanilla fencing, and animal welfare is very important. So the final room through here is can you guess, given the purple color? It's Thaumcraft. Now you might think that there's enough purple in the on the surface anyway, but it really goes with the mod, I think. And again, I haven't finished the lighting because of glowstone trouble. I'm not entirely sure about the floor. Maybe I sort of wanted to make it black and purple, but I ran out of these bricks, and maybe just make it completely great wood like the ceiling. I don't know. Well, this will need a little bit more work, but mostly it will need actual Thaumcraft structures, the altar and the essentia things, blah blah blah. I think that will make them all look better. Anyway, and this ends, and you can also access this room from these two rooms. So let me know what you think. It's not perfect, especially this room, but I think it's a big improvement over what we had before. And in the next episode we are going to maybe set up a bit of Botania mana production, but mostly finally develop the Thaumcraft. Let me just get the book of achievements. Is it here? Because I think we can finally tick a couple of things. Set up plots of 16 plants each week. Carrot, potatoes we've done. We haven't done these or these, but well, I think those are really the only achievements we can do so far. Oh, this is very sad news. You will notice that we no longer have our wolf, who was still nameless. That's because I thought he was bored sitting in the room all the time. I took him downstairs into the mines to hunt some zombies, and he went off into one of the corridors and never came back. So very sad. I think he became a victim of the taint. So all I can do is wait until another wolf or ocelot materializes upstairs, which I'm sure will eventually happen, and same that. But this will be it for this episode. Let me know what you think of the rooms. Why do I always do that? Let me know what you think of the decorations. Do you like them? Do you think they are too much, too bright, too dark, whatever? Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.